And we're back, and it's me, it's that T-O-double-G, and I remember when Rock was young, me and Susie had so much fun, holding hands and skipping stones, had an old gold cherry in a place of our own, but the biggest kick I ever had was doing the Absolute Football podcast for you beautiful people here, and I'm not here alone, I'm here with my own tiny dancer, Charlotte, hold me closer, tiny dancer, how are you this evening?
I'm really, really good, thank you. How are you?
Ah, like that. I can't say good because I would be lying. It's a terrible lie, but we'll get into that later on. But it's not just me having my crocodile rock with my tiny dancer. There's a man here looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. Billy, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Very excited to be here. And yeah, buzzing. Not gonna lie, buzzing.
It's exciting times. That seems to be like a cliche word, buzzing at the moment. I was going through clips of the pod. Everybody is always buzzing. There'll be drug testing all of us pretty soon. and in the chat, we've got Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well this evening. And Torsten as well, who's actually been waiting, commented early this morning. He commented on. So if you're still there, thank you very much. And Matt at Football United TV, thank you very much for joining us here. I hope you're doing well. And Graham Seeing as well. And Mr. Luke, look at that. Everybody's all here. Chris is asking, do I practice my vibes? No, actually, Elton John practiced those ones. I'd be lying if I took credit for that. I don't even think he wrote it himself, but that's something for another time and another podcast. And Simon's in the chat as well. Hello, Simon. To everybody listening on any audio platform, be it Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, whatever it may be, you can also join us live at 8 p.m. on YouTube or Twitch or the Book of Faces, where we are also live as well. And you can be part of this conversation. You can send personalized messages to Billy, like Lisa has. Good evening, Billy, to Lisa, and then to everybody else. But it is back. The football is back. It's an exciting time for one and all. Maybe not all. It's an exciting time for some. Somebody who was excited, I'm not sure if they are anymore, was Burnley. Burnley back in the big time as they went to play Manchester City, but it didn't end the way that they would have hoped to. Burnley 0, Man City 3. And to kick us off, Billy, how did that game make you feel?
Just made me feel City are back. That they were very attacking from the off. It didn't take Haaland long. He was back at scoring goals. He's going to get another 30-plus goal season, and it was exactly what you'd expect from Man City. They're a machine. They literally, every game, just rinse and repeat. Burnley stood no chance. But to be fair to Burnley, I think that was a game they would have expected nothing from anyway. So it was a free hit for them.
Yeah, Haaland, he's a bit of a beast, really, isn't he? I mean, that's that. It was at the second goal, the second finish I'm thinking of that was quite exquisite.
Yeah, with quality. It's just a robot. He's still a robot.
I know.
His batteries have been recharged.
He's not even energizer when he's running on lithium. He plugs in at the end of every day and then he's fully charged. And Luke agrees with you. He's a robot. He swears. He is. I mean, and he's just superb. He is superb. I mean, if we're going to make an early season prediction, Shah, Billy, how many goals? I mean, if you start with you, Shah, how many goals do you think Haaland's going to end on this season?
I think he's going to get at least 30.
Yeah, well, I think didn't there was some footballer in some North London team that you did bog standard sort of football. He used to hit 30 quite regularly, didn't he?
I don't talk about him, do I now?
Billy, how many goals do you think Haaland's going to be smashing in? Prediction, we are going to hold you to this as well.
38 in the Premier League. I feel like he'll get 50 plus all competitions.
I'm sort of with you. I'm sort of kicking around the 35, 37 mark, I think, in the Premier League. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was in the 50s all around.
So technically, because I said at least 30, anything above 30, I win. Because I said at least. So if it's under, I lose. But anything over it or 30, I win.
That's like one of those people like it, £50 and 1 penny.
Yeah. I don't win anything. My football team don't win anything. Let me have this moment.
But Chris is in the chat. Was it a surprise? No, but Pep wasn't happy at half time. I mean, I saw him ranting and raving at Haaland. I mean, Billy, what was your take on that? What What's the beef? What's the beef?
I think he needed to create some drama for the Sky cameras because the game was it was like reading off a script. You knew Manchester City were going to be ahead at halftime. You knew they were going to dominate the game, so he needed to add a bit of spice. And I think that was it. But no, in all seriousness, I don't know what he was moaning at. You know, Pep's a perfectionist, so maybe Haaland wasn't where he was supposed to be a couple of times, and he was trying to give him some advice. But yeah, it seems a bit harsh to have a run at him when he's that dominant in the game.
I mean, there was a much more comprehensive answer than it's just Pep being a tosser, which you would have got if you had asked me outright. I mean, I think what I read after the game was something along the lines of he was calling for the ball in situations would have meant they'd have to send a long ball over instead of building up. And Pep is quite robotic in his he likes his building up. He likes to play that little sort of crab football and work his way up. But that doesn't really work well for Haaland, I don't think. I mean... If you were Haaland, Shah, how much abuse would you take off Pep? Or do you think he's just walked off a duck's back room and he just doesn't care?
I'm just imagining myself as Haaland now. That'd be well good. But no.
I see you flicking your hair
in
the breeze, your big broad shoulders.
I think that's kind of who Pep is, isn't it? And we see it like with Arteta as well, don't we? Be very passionate, and it's one of them if you're a football manager and like us fans can be like, oh, wait until you get in a dressing room and then have your moan and your rant and stuff. But I think he's only human at the end of the day, isn't he, Pep Guardiola? And as much as we're all like saying about him moaning and things like that, he is a perfectionist, isn't he? And he's just gone straight to him and had his like say, but no, I don't think Haaland's that bothered because at the end of the day, the goals he's scoring, he plays for Manchester City. The money he's earning week in, week out, I think it's just water off a duck's back, to be honest.
I agree. Chris is agreeing there's something to do with the bad pass between, that's meant to be Rodri. He does correct himself by there, between Rodri and Haaland. And I'll just read the following comment. But our friend and the Burnley FC fan channel say take Haaland up the equation, and Burnley played quite well. He needs roughing up by some lads from Rochdale. I'm assuming he means down a pub or something, though, because that's not happening on the pitch anytime soon. I don't think, unless you get some really good Carling Cup run or something. Do you think Rochdale are going to be up for a good
We're not in the Carling Cup now, Josh. We're not in it.
Oh, you're not anymore. It's going to have to be roughing him up down the pub.
That's the FA Cup. FA Cup.
FA. There you go. There you go. You could smash him around in that one. And this is the comment that made me giggle. Erling Haaland.
Oh, that's Manny's Twitter name.
It is. And in the chat, we've got Heather returning as well. Hello, nice to see you there. And Lucas saying he bets Pep is a mad scientist and he's creating monsters of players. He is. It's frightening. But I mean, Luke's saying here, though, everyone's on a meltdown when Kevin De Bruyne got injured. And I don't know if you saw some of his comments after the game. He spoke out, I'm not sure if it's before or after the game, but he said more injuries were going to happen, as we touched on last week, because of the intensity of the play. Do you think, Billy, do you think this is bearing out what he's actually said, or do you think it's KDB and he gets injured?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think KDB is a little bit brittle coming into sort of like the twilight of his career. He's played a lot of games. He plays a lot of minutes. I don't think he can play 2 to 3 games a week. And I feel like with the added extra time now where you're getting, 11 minutes at halftime or, 6 minutes at the end. So he is going to pick up more injuries and they're going to need depth in that position because he's not going to play the full season.
No, I totally agree. And that would be I wouldn't say concern. I'm not concerned if Man City struggle, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm hoping that it does happen. But that would be the one thing that could catch them out. But I mean, somebody who obviously did struggle was Burnley. Obviously, we've got Dan in the chat. Give us something positive. Charlotte, Billy, has anyone got anything positive to say about Burnley's performance? I mean, they had a shot on target. I'll kick us off there.
I like the way they play football as well, to be fair. I know obviously Man City dominated and stuff, but I do like the way you can see them adapting under Vincent Kompany. It's very different to the Burnley that we've seen before in the Premier League. So, yeah, I take that as a positive, 100%. And at the end of the day, it's Manchester City, isn't it? Like, I'm sorry, but no matter who they were playing, I think they had a point to prove anyway. If we've won the treble, they had a point to prove. Obviously, Haaland, everyone would call him because he didn't score in what's it called? What do we call it? Charity Shield, in certain friendlies and stuff are all on his back, but he does it in the games that he should be doing it in. Like, who cares really in the Charity Shield?
Yeah, nobody cares about the
No
Charity
one cares,
Shield.
do they?
No, we don't care, Charity Shield.
No.
Billy, did you see anything positive? I mean, they had another one on top of one shot on target. They had more corners than Man City.
Yeah, I think the only positive, it wasn't a silly scoreline. It wasn't 5 or 6. But I'd like to see Burnley against another team, maybe against someone like Bournemouth before I pass judgment on them, because against City it's tough. So yeah, hopefully their style of play translates to the Premier League. Otherwise, they're in for a tough season.
Lisa's comment made me laugh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Lisa thinks he's He-Man. Now, some of you might be too young for He-Man. He-Man, what a cartoon! He-Man. If you haven't seen that, check it out. That's what he looks like. I'll tell you this as a sidebar. I used to dress up as He-Man when I was a kid. I used to use bungee cords from the boot of my dad's car, strap them over my chest, hook them up the back with my plastic sword stuck down the back. And I used to pull them up going, I have the power.
What do you mean as a kid? You definitely do that now on the weekend.
I haven't got the hair for it anymore. I've got the physique, obviously. Still got the physique here to be here, man. But
I'm crying.
That it just doesn't quite work out. But I mean, my nervousness really a little bit for Burnley. You can move past that mental image you've got of me being He-Man. I used to have long blonde hair as well. You know, Dolph Lundgren in Master of the Universe. That was me. That was. I mean, Burnley's next game that I can see on here is up against Aston Villa, which originally I was nervous about, but we'll touch on that at the moment where we should be. But then the next couple of games in the Premier League, they've got Spurs, which I don't know. Should Spurs beat Burnley, Billy?
Smash them to bits after that performance we had on Sunday. We need a bit more penetration, but we dominated the game. We'll talk about when we talk about Spurs, but yeah, we should smash Burnley to bits.
But then after Spurs, they've got Nottingham Forest, then Man United, then Newcastle, then Chelsea, then Brentford. You're really looking till the end of October with up against Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. But then they've got Arsenal, and there's a lot of hard games, sort of back to back to back. They're going to struggle. They're going to struggle with. I mean, do you think? I mean, Shah, do you think there's going to be enough? They're going to be able to take enough that they don't become despondent in those games before they can really hit their stride?
I think so. And to be fair, like we're all saying, Burnley, they've got this opponent and this opponent, but the Premier League now, you can't call who's going to win their matches. It is a very competitive league, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, jumping back into the chat for a moment there, Graham said he also had He-Man sword. Chris said, at least I wasn't She-Ra. Which is true. Didn't have the physique for She-Ra, though. I had to say, Billy, you leave Bournemouth alone. And I'm sorry that's just going to happen. And Lisa's saying, Jimmy McNulty.
Yay!
And, but moving on from the Newcastle game, one of Charlotte's champions, a team that she championed at the start of the season, who said was going to blitz everybody, blow them all away, and make you really show everybody what's what. Lost 5-1 to Newcastle. Newcastle 5, Aston Villa 1. Shah, how did that game make you feel?
I mean, come on, guys. It's the first game. It's the first game, but we're at Newcastle. Don't get me wrong. It's not the best start for him. But, yeah, Newcastle completely dominated that game, didn't they? I thought they were really, really good. I thought there'd be a lot of goals in that game, but I didn't expect it to be mostly from Newcastle. I thought it'd be pretty even. But yeah, some of just the football Newcastle were playing, they look really, really strong. Is it Tonali, the new midfielder? Is it they've got?
Sandro
Is he a
Tonali.
midfielder?
Yeah,
I think he played really, really well. Obviously, you can't fault Harvey Barnes when he came on, scoring, and then obviously an assist. Callum Wilson coming on, Isak. I'm fuming. I forgot about Isak, and I said it in one of my match reaction videos because I totally forgot to put him in my FPL league, and big mistake. But yeah, Newcastle played really well. Unfortunately, that happened to Tyrone Mings. It's not something we like to see. It was a very bad injury, and I think Villa have come out and said it is a long-term injury now. So after that, I think the game became a bit subdued until obviously they got to half time, and then Newcastle came out and they just completely dominated again, didn't they? And I actually really like watching Newcastle, and I think obviously Eddie Howe is not gone ridiculously stupid with big names. He's kind of spent the money wisely and brought in these new additions who, to be fair, I do classes. Obviously, I don't really know much about Tonali, but Harvey Barnes, I could see him being like an Eddie Howe signing, even like for the when he was like at Bournemouth and stuff like that. He's not gone stupid for the big names, which I do like. My only worry with Newcastle is once they start playing Champions League football, will they be able to keep it up both in the Champions League and obviously in the league? But I guess this is why they brought these additions in, haven't they?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and in the chat, we've got Chris is saying when they lost Mings, Villa completely lost their shape.
They did.
And Heather sending love as well. And Graham agreeing, also losing Tyrone Mings cost them. And it is, I mean, I've checked it.
I forgot to say as well, Matty Cash and Bailey on that side, I don't think they got into the game, especially Matty Cash. I think he was very vulnerable. And I think that's where a lot of it were coming from that side with Newcastle. I don't think he played very well. I think them two did struggle in particular.
Yeah, I mean, Matty Cash, I was going to have him on my FPL team. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have done even worse than I did.
Game.
God dear me, can you imagine the points you would have lost off the back?
Trust the process.
I'm trusting nothing. But I mean, I looked online. I mean, they've said he's going to have a significant knee injury that requires surgery and lengthy rehabilitation process. Potentially, I mean, he could not be in this season. In reality, if he's having surgery, 4 to 6 weeks of recovery from that. I mean, that's like a month and a half, and there's going to be a long time. And it depends what it is. You know, he could be out for quite a long time. So
it's how he actually recovers himself as well in his body, isn't it? Now, because he's not. I'm not saying he's old, but he's not like
he's
really
30
young.
now, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue with Virgil van Dijk after the injury that when Pickford decided to try and kill him and didn't get carded. But when that happened, since he's come back, I don't think we've seen the same Virgil van Dijk since that injury. And I think it's a state of mind thing potentially, more than anything else that can catch him out. But while we are praising Newcastle, Isaacs, what a player! He's really coming on. I think Luke was saying he had him as captain, and he didn't put Haaland in his FPL team. Very risky. But I mean, he's got a lot of potential. He had a few injuries last season, though. I mean, Billy, do you think he's going to be able to maintain this form and keep himself fit?
I think so. I think he's going to have to be carefully managed, though. I think that's why they've got Wilson in there as well. Two good strikers. Take Isak off after 70 minutes if they're up and winning, and if not, they've got an option to play them both. So I feel like Newcastle are dangerous going forward, but his time has to be managed because he is a bit injury prone.
Yeah, and I think, and the irony is though they're bringing on Callum Wilson. Which is that is quite frightening. That's almost frying pan and fire a sort of thing. And it was a very sort of he made the double substitution, very British sounding. Wilson and Barnes coming on. Which I mean, but I agree with you, Shot. I think the nervousness does come when they get into the Champions League and they've got those games. And it's not just the games, it's the travel. It's a different style of play that they have to adapt to as well. And if you look through their squad, there's not a wealth of sort of experience of playing at that level either. I mean, really, you've got Kevin Trippier, and that's about it. That's the only sort of person that has really played at that level. And the subs they're bringing on with Wilson and Barnes, you could say two good players. But after that, Sean Longstaff, Jacob Murphy, there's not a huge depth to that squad. And I agree with you. Aston Villa then. I mean, they brought on Philippe Coutinho. Woohoo! What do you think went wrong for them, though, Shah? You mentioned Cash down the right-hand side. Do you think this was just a blip of a game, or did you see something a little bit more unnerving, do you think?
don't get me wrong. I think they've got a couple more injuries as well, and I can't say his name. It begins with a B. Is it what's it called? Buendia or
Buendia.
something? That's the one. He's I know he's got quite a bad injury as well. There's a couple who were out. First game of season, and to be fair, Newcastle, they've gone to Newcastle. Newcastle was at Newcastle, weren't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've gone to Newcastle, and obviously Newcastle have got a crowd behind them, for starters as well. And I do think it's a blip with Aston Villa. It's the first game. They're bringing in new players as well. I know they've signed someone today, I think, Aston Villa. Brought someone in today. I don't know his name.
So I'm
pretty sure I've seen it today. Unless I dreamt it, but I can't see that happening.
I'm just trying to see if they brought anyone in.
I think it was an Egyptian player.
Yeah, I'm sure it was an Egyptian player.
I've got a name. Is this right? No, that's an old one. That's from July. I can't find anything. Chris is normally. I think Chris might have even been mentioning him here. DRB.
Yeah.
That means nothing to me. So I'm totally ignorant to that. Charlotte knew it existed. He's from Bayer Leverkusen. Musa Diaby, from Bayer Leverkusen. Let me take a quick goosey gander to see if I can find anything. You can talk amongst yourselves as friends.
I think as well with obviously Emery. I think with Emery as well, obviously, I just think he's brilliant. I think he's a really top manager. So that's why I had them so high in my predictions. But yeah, Newcastle, I think, are one of them teams. And I think they're going to surprise a few people this season. And that's why I'm looking forward to. I think, is it next week we play Manchester City?
Oh, God, they want to hope not.
Next week or the week after, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that game.
You is just a sadist. you just want to see people getting hurt. So they've got two by the looks of it then. I think there is a Musa Diaby who was at Leverkusen. Leverkusen bought him from PSG for 15 million euros. This is in euros, so I haven't got the pounds and pence. But then Villa signed for 55. Heck of a lot of work there. Because they say they've signed Z. Or from ZFC, Omar.
That's the one I saw. Yeah,
Omar.
That's the one I saw.
Well, we know nothing, but we'll have a look. We'll have a look, and we'll find out. He's a 17-year-old winger, apparently. So we'll see what impact. But I trust Unai Emery. But I mean, so well done, Newcastle. Well played. Unfortunate, Aston Villa. Looks like Charlotte cursed you by predicting that you were going to do well.
One game.
I'm moving on to another team that Charlotte predicted would do well. Another one suffering from the Charlotte curse was Brighton for Luton one. Luton survived relegation according to Charlotte. Remember that, everybody.
I'm going to explain myself now, right? I didn't say they would do well. I said I think they will be safe and survive relegation, but I think it's very crucial that they have good home form. That's what I said.
Right.
I didn't say well as if they were going to run away with the league or anything like that.
So in theory, she thought home games they'll be fine in, away games they're going to get smashed, and in which case you were right. Brighton 4, Luton 1. I mean, how did that one make you feel?
To be fair, I thought Brighton were going to win because as much as obviously they've got the ongoing saga with Caicedo, who obviously it's been settled now, he's gone to Chelsea. I think they've recruited really well this season. I think their manager's brilliant as well. All this Caicedo saga, and he just turned around and said, "Who's he? I've forgotten him already." And I think that was brilliant from him because that's the mentality. I can't speak. That's the mentality you need as a manager, and he's not dwelling on it. It's like, yeah, he's gone. Doesn't want to be here. Next one in. And I think they're linked with a midfielder from, I think it's Lille. I think they've been linked. I think Fabrizio. Yeah. Their recruitment, honestly, is on point. But the actual game, the stats, Brighton dominated as expected. 27 shots to Luton's 9. 12 of them were on target. Luton's were 3, and they had 71% possession to obviously Luton's 29. But I was watching the highlights before, and I don't know how nobody has picked up Matoma yet. He's honestly absolute class, Matoma. I think he was actually linked with Manchester City as well.
I believe he has been, yeah.
Honestly, he's absolute quality. But yeah, I think Brighton are going to be the same as last season. I think they're one of them teams now who we can expect being top half. Because the recruitment, no matter what, no matter who they sell, no matter who they get in, it's just brilliant. And like I've mentioned before, I thought after losing Graham Potter, they would struggle, but they've just gone from strength to strength. And you think of the money just from selling these players to Chelsea, the money they've inherited to be able to get like not just one player. You think of that money from him can get like three, 4 players. So
I mean, Tony
yeah,
Bloom, what a club owner.
exactly.
I mean, it also. I mean, I will say as well. Tony Bloom also owns Royal San Union Galois over in Belgium, and what he's done with them is just outstanding. And he seems to be a really clever club owner, and his recruitment is absolutely spot on. Chris is saying to the chat, Chelsea will be in the
I was gonna say that. They got Sanchez as well, didn't they? The keeper.
Yeah, they're just having them all.
Cucurella.
They're just fine. Brighton laughing all the way to Chelsea's bank, says Graham in the chat as well. And it's mad. I mean, one of my favourite things on that game, James Milner. James Milner started his 22nd consecutive season. But what is that?
What a guy.
I just love him. I absolutely love him. What a hero. And Danny Welbeck's managed to find a team that he can play football well at. Which is so strange. But I don't know if you caught this one, Billy. With the is it Evan Ferguson, the Scottish lad that came on and scored? What did you think of his performance? A lot of people are raving about him.
Yeah, he's a one in a generation talent. I feel like he's going to be Brighton's striker for the future. He'll get poached by someone, a bigger club, Man United, Chelsea, probably, as they always do. But yeah, he's going to lead the line for Brighton. He's going to be a top player.
Yeah, it was good. And Brighton, they were superb, absolutely beautiful. And in the chat, I mean, moving over to Luton, at least Carlton Morris got off the mark.
I was going to say that. Obviously, they got a penalty, Luton. They gave one away as well, which was quite a clumsy challenge. I think it was Lockyer who gave a penalty away, but they got a penalty as well, and he scored it. And to be fair, there's some positives what I saw from Luton. I don't think they're actually a bad footballing side. But I just think Brighton are a lot stronger. But I think Brighton will be a threat to the top teams as well.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the look of Brighton. I think I think again our predictions of them in the top 10 is really accurate for everybody all around. I'm being corrected in the chat because Evan Ferguson is Irish. He's not Scottish. He's Irish. I should have known better, but I don't. I know very little detail. I just fly by the skin of my pants. So you said you saw some good from Luton. Do you think that they're just nice football? They're just not quite up to the level. How do you think they're going to perform against teams like Wolves and Everton's and sort of middle of the table in teams?
To be fair, I'm not going to write them off against them because I think they could get something. And like I said, the home form. I just think with Luton, they've got some good players, but I just don't know up against like the quality of your top teams in the Premier League, how they're going to do. But I think they're definitely against like your Evertons and your Wolves, and that's no disrespect to them, but I think they could come like definitely matched, especially now Wolves have obviously lost some top players. Everton the same, they've not really recruited anyone, have they? So I think those kind of teams, and obviously against your Sheffield United who have just come up, I think they could definitely like get some results.
Yeah, so I mean, because Luke was saying he doesn't think they're going to do a derby when they were in the league. Did you agree with that one, Billy? Do you think they've got enough about them?
No, I think they might get more points than Derby, but it'll be tight. I after that game, I didn't see anything too much from them. It was a penalty. They got a penalty. He scored. Fine. But yeah, just for me, it's their home form. I like to see them at home against an Everton or a Palace, and then we'll see. But they've done the right thing. They're building for the future. If they go down, they'll come back up. They haven't had a silly transfer window. They're rejuvenating their ground. They're putting money into the club. So it's only onwards and upwards really for Luton.
Yeah, and I agree on that. I mean, and Chris in the chat, they've got the weekend off because their home ground isn't quite ready yet, which how they've been allowed to get away with that. I'm not saying that they should have been punished for it because I don't, but how they were allowed to get away with that, I think that's very nice of the league. But I think
City are getting away with 115 charges, so I'm sorry, but Luton can get away with using the ground for a week. I'm sure. I'm gonna have all the City fans coming for me now.
No, it's fine. There's no rules anymore. It doesn't matter. There aren't any rules. But I mean Luton's first home game, interestingly, according to the fixture list at the moment, is going to be the 1st of September against West Ham. I mean that West Ham. I don't know. I mean, Shah, do you think that's winnable?
I don't know. West Ham have just brought in Ward Prowse, and I think they've got another. They brought in someone else. I think there's links with them bringing. I can't remember who it was. I've seen someone today who else are linked with, and I cannot think who it is. But I think West Ham will be a bit stronger. I think like you've got Jared Bowen there, Antonio. I do think they'll be stronger.
They've all of a sudden made some decent signings, haven't they?
Yeah.
West Ham. I mean, James Ward-Prowse. What was I think was he 20-something million?
Yeah.
I mean, what? While we're just on him, I mean, Billy, what do you think of that as a sign? And that's value for money, surely.
Yeah, big value for money. He's going to be dangerous at set pieces as he was at Southampton. But with West Ham being linked with Maguire as well, their expected goals from corners is going to be right up there. You don't want to be giving too many corners away against West Ham.
I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, I copied Charlton on one of the memes for Maguire corners with some lad just ploughing straight through a door.
Yes.
That is superb. I mean, Chris is saying he's hoping they have Maguire, but then
is it McTominay as well they're linked with?
I thought they were. I saw it. They were linked. I mean, West Ham, according to Graham, then he signed players for 30 million. And I think that's what they went in for Maguire at. I think they went for McTominay slightly under. And United thought he was worth more.
Yeah, I had in my head as well. I know he's been linked with Everton on loan, but is it Harrison from Leeds? I think we're linked with West Ham as well.
Yeah, I thought he's injured, I think, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I've got a feeling. I'll look it up now, but I've got a feeling Jack Harrison has become injured.
Yeah, because I know he was linked with a loan to Everton. I think that was yesterday or Saturday.
Oh, do you know, 10 hours ago, according to this, Jack Harrison, he's gone to Everton despite having a hip injury. So Everton have signed him. I know West Ham were in.
They've got Calvert-Lewin now, haven't they, as well?
So he's got a friend in the physio room now.
They're always thinking about others.
Yeah, he's sitting in the physio room, all on his Billy Todd. What's he going to do? We got to get somebody in there with him. Heather's happy that West Ham didn't have James Ward-Prowse on Saturday. That is true. They would have struggled at the moment. Lisa's saying Chelsea, welcome to the bridge. But while we're on Bournemouth, obviously Luke is saying, thank God the Caicedo situation is over. We will touch on transfers in a little bit. We'll come on to that. And Lucas is saying Wenger head. What a handsome manager that is. But speaking of Arsene Wenger, do you know what? It's very apt that Lucas came in. That Lucas, you came into the chat because we are now about to review Brentford 2, Spurs 2. So there you are. It's Lucas's secret team. Billy, so a 2-2 there, just the Desmond. How did that game make you feel?
Excited and anxious at the same time. There's a lot that was wrong with the game. Vicario thought he was a central midfield player at times, coming out so far out of his goal, and he looked a little bit shaky, looked a little bit nervous at times as well. I feel like Romero going off was a big blow for us as well. He said he was fine, but it had to come off for a concussion substitution, which wasn't a concussion substitution, which was very tactical of Ange there not to give Brentford another sub. Worked out well for us in the end. And then Davinson Sanchez had a great game. When he came on and we went 2-1 down, I was like, it wasn't his fault, but in my head, I was like, we've got Sanchez on the pitch, we're going to lose. So yeah, there was that. And Emerson playing at inverted wing back was a weird one. He scored an absolute banger, but he was out of position so often. And Bissell was absolutely terrorizing him on the wing. And I felt sorry for Emerson at times because he didn't have the pace, he didn't have the positioning to keep up with him. But we lacked a lot of penetration in that game. Richarlison can't lead the front line. He's had his chance. This was his chance. We need someone else now. And with Ange, I feel like we need a big target man up front just to hold the ball up. So I know there's a lot of links with Lukaku. I don't think he's the right player, but he's the right type of player for Spurs. But we dominated possession. We went to Brentford, almost beat them, something only Arsenal did last year, I think. And we absolutely pinned them back for most of the game. So I think we had like 68% possession for the whole game or something like that. There's definitely a team and a tactic there with Ange. There's definitely something building. He needs time. And again, another debut at the back. Mickey van der Ven looked like Mickey Mouse. So I'm hoping he can improve on that performance. But again, it's another young player making a debut, so he needs a little bit of time. But Udogie at left back looked like he fit the team like a glove. He was powerful down the left wing. Absolute quality debut from the best Football Manager left back in real life. And then we had Son as well, who didn't really do much, didn't grow into the game. Neither did Kulusevski. So there's a front line to be worked on, but there's a lot of positives.
I mean, in the chat, I've got a couple I was going to ask, but Billy said, "Are you happy with Son as the captain? Is he a real true leader?"
Yeah, in the dressing room, he's one of the big figures, and he's been at the club one of the longest players. He is now our talisman. Now Kane's gone, but after that performance on Saturday, he's got to do more. He's captain of the club. He can't give away silly penalties. I don't think it was a penalty, but there we go. But he gave it away. It was given, and he didn't do much after that either. I felt like he slowed down the play too much. He was a very pedestrian pace. He didn't have that dynamism that he normally has. So hopefully he picks up against Man United because we'll need him in that game. We'll need everyone to be firing to stand a chance.
I mean, how old is Son now? Because he seems to be slowing down over last season as well.
I'm sure he's around my age. He's about 31 or something.
You're not 31. No bullshit, us, Charlotte.
51. No, I promise.
No, she's 27, really, people. That's what it is.
What do you want? Do you need me to do another pod or something this week?
But I think he seemed there's just something hasn't been right. So I always quite liked him. I fancied Liverpool to go in for him at one stage a couple of seasons ago. But I mean, Chris is saying in the chat he is 31. Do you think is his overall game slowing down, or what do you think's going on there?
Yeah, I feel like it has. He's not got the dynamic pace that he had 2-3 years ago, which is fine. Coming into your 30s, it happens. So he's got to adjust. He's got great technique. He's got good positioning. So he should be fine. But at Premier League level, we need Ange's football. You need pace and you need a target man up front. That's what works best for him. And sadly, we don't really have that in our forward line. And I feel like maybe Son has another season in him, and then we'll say goodbye to him too in next summer's transfer window.
But I mean, Maddison started, I believe, 2 assists. Maddison. What do you think? Do you think he's going to fit in well for you guys?
Had a really good game. Needs to watch his temperament. Got himself booked. For he got himself booked for a silly yellow card for dissent, which they know you can't do anymore. So that's a silly one. And then he was having a go at the ref a few times as well. And I did think at one point I thought Ange should have took him off, but. He's the exact type of player that we need. Creativity, provides assists, wicked free kick, great set plays. So yeah, he could be a real talisman for us this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need that little bit of bite in you and that bit of attitude. But yeah, I'm not a fan of sort of hounding the referee and giving all that verbal back. I'm a big fan of the in rugby where they just call them out for it, tell them off, sit them down on the bench. I think that's great. But so Richarlison, not for you at the moment, then.
I'd sell him. Take whatever we get for him, and he can go. He was lazy. He didn't make any runs. I think he had one shot on target, which he really should have scored. It was a tight angle. I'm being a bit harsh. But I just don't feel like there's a football player in there. This was his game to show us that he could take up Kane's mantle. And all he showed us was the laziness, the attitude. You know, he's supposed to be Brazil's number 9. They've had Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Romario, and now they've got Richarlison. It's like
weird, isn't it?
It's weird.
It's disappointing. But I mean, Brentford, proving that they can score without Tony, managed to get 2 goals there at home. What did you think of their performance?
I thought they were just dangerous on the counter attack. I don't think they offered anything else. That they were clinical when they had their chances. Apart from the Mbuemo one, he should have really made it. I think it would have been 3-1 at that point and probably game over. Yeah, that's all they offered. I feel like we hemmed them back a lot. We were in their half most of the game, and I feel like they've taken a bit of a back step. They're not. I don't think they'll be as strong as what we think they will be this season.
Oh, I agree. I'm not a. I think they're just going to struggle. I think they're very much one of those teams that they did well. They've had a good season. They've been okay, but personally, I think they're going to sort of lack a little bit. I mean, Chris in the chat and Bruno and Weta, decent players. Sharjah, do you think Brentford are going to be able to keep up the form from last season?
I feel like obviously they will tail off and not be as high, but I think there's a lot of teams in this league now that will struggle, like we mentioned, relegation. And I think we said on the predictions, like all our predictions from like the bottom half, any of them could go down. Yeah. So I think that's the only reason why, obviously, I think Brentford might be up there a little bit more, because obviously I know Fulham have lost some players and they did get a win now. Crystal Palace have lost Zaha, haven't they, as well? So there's a lot of teams. Neves has gone from Wolves, so I think there is a lot of teams that will struggle this season. So that's the only reason. Plus, I think if Tony did come back in January, obviously if he keeps up his fitness and things, well, obviously he's out. I think that could be a positive for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of worry. I sort of worry a little bit for them. I mean, and Solaris in the chat, welcome. I hope you're doing well there. Sheffield United Wolves both hitting the self-destruct button. Sheffield United, they're just selling all of their players. Anyone who could be half decent, they're just, you're all right. You're all right. You're fine. And
they have brought in Gus, haven't they, from Coventry? What's he called? Gustavo? Is it Gustavo? I can't think of his name. But he's a brilliant player in though. He's a real
Gustavo Hamer.
That's him, yeah. He's a really good talent.
Did he get injured in the final, in the playoff final?
I'm sure he did. He did.
I just remember it wasn't hammer time for them then, was it? And Simon's corrected this. It is Gustavo Hamer. And just as a quick update at the moment, after what has been a thrilling, what moment are they on now? They're on the 44th minute. It's Man United 0, Wolves 0 still. Absolutely thrilling game. And Lisa's telling us that Eric needs to roast them in the dressing room on an open fire.
How's Mason Mount playing, guys? Let me know in the chat.
Is Mason Mount? He has started. He started the game at least. But I've got nothing that tells me where he's playing. Probably bog standard, I imagine.
Brilliant.
If I'm to hazard a guess. I think Graham saying on Brentford, it's a safe bet they're missing Tony. And Solaris think, you need to bring on Fred and Maguire. Fred's gone. I'm not sure if anybody's seen Fred. Fred has gone. I think, is it Turkey?
Is it Fenerbahce?
Yeah, I believe so. He's gone, which is, I don't know. Is that sad for you, Man United? I don't think anyone's going to notice. No one's going to be that fussed whatsoever. But I mean, while we are on Spurs, Luke said it here in the chat. He looks at Harry Kane left Spurs to join Bayern, and he played the cup final and lost. Do you think he took the Spurs curse with him, took it with him, or do you think he's just sharing it across? But what do you think of the move?
I think it's his ego. And I've said this at Tottenham, and Bayern are the biggest club in Germany. And they won the league for the last 10 years straight. Okay, last season they won it on the last day because Dortmund messed up. But his ego in the dressing room is too big. It's all about him. And I feel like he's quite divisive. Like for me, he lost us a Champions League final and a League Cup final. Not that we probably would have beat Liverpool in the Champions League final, but Mora should have started. And I feel like he's bringing that energy to Bayern, and they've got a lot of superstars. And I don't know. He will score goals for them because in the Bundesliga, he is going to be playing against teams that are, League One quality and Championship quality week after week. But I mean, we'll see. It's a shame for him because I did want to see him win something. But yeah, at the same time, he's gone to win trophies and lost the first attempt. So as a Spurs fan, it makes me quite happy.
And I mean, 100 million, was it 100 million or 100 million euros? I'm not quite sure where it ended up for you guys.
Euros.
So say it's about 85, 88 million in the pound sterling of the realm. Do you think Levy's going to let you invest that? Not you personally. Let that be invested back in the squad. Well, he might do. He might follow all of your TikToks at Hold My Hime on TikTok. He might do. He might see you on there doing your Football Manager and think that's the boy for me. But do you think that's going to be invested back into the squad?
I see. I'm normally quite a humble person, but I feel like I could do a better job than Spurs' recruitment department, to be honest. I think he's going to let. I think we'll probably get another striker. And they're talking about Gift Orban, who's a fairly decent player playing out in Belgium, but he's untested in the Premier League, and he's a player that can play across the front line a little bit like Richarlison, play left, right, and down the middle. Scored a lot of goals last season. I think they're talking about 20, 30 million euros for him. So pocket the rest and invest in that. But again, it's probably an upgrade on Richarlison. So fingers crossed he does well. We sign him and he does well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think we could get any of us on to be an upgrade from Richarlison, to be fair, because we try. So I think we don't. But I mean, on things that are trying, I mean, I have said I'm going to have my piss and my moan about Liverpool, because we're trying my last nerve is what we're trying at the moment. I mean, I'm assuming everybody's probably seen by now the Caicedo saga seems to be concluded with 115 million to Chelsea. It looks very much like Chelsea also going to be purchasing Lavia from Southampton for less than Liverpool had accepted. And I think it really pissing me off beyond belief. And what's quite frustrating is for years and years at Liverpool, we've had good recruitment. Michael Edwards manned a good recruitment department that brought well, sold well, made the offers that needed to be offered, spent money where we needed to spend money, which we did, but didn't where we didn't. Whereas now it's almost like we're in this mentality where it's like, we got to get a deal. It's a little bit like Levy. We got to get a deal now. we can't spend any money. We got McAllister somehow for like 35 million. Whatever strange contract clause we had. I mean, and if you look at Szoboszlai, that is 60 million, I think. And that's about right. But I think the whole messing about with if you've got the money, which we have. I mean, I don't know if anybody knew, but last year I think we were probably one of the only teams in the top 6 that made a profit in the end of year account. So we actually turned a profit. So FFP, we should be fine in the Premier League. We're definitely fine for UEFA. So there is money there to be spent. I mean, in theory, we've got a couple of 100 million that we can spend without sort of breaching any regulations. And the fact that they made that offer to Caicedo shows the money's there. But what they did, they tried to bid for Lavia, couldn't get him. Chelsea was rumoured to come in. So what they did, they got all their junk out and put it on the table and went, look at this. Here I am. You can have all of this stuff. Calling Chelsea's bluff. I think there's a theory out that they're calling Chelsea's bluff to try and get them to pull out of the Lavia deal because they couldn't buy both of them. And obviously, Tom Bowley's just gone, stuff it. What's FFP? What are rules? We're just going to buy him. And what that meant is they had to go back in for Lavia with an extra 10 million on top. And that's not going to get it either. I think we're at a disadvantage in that London's got an appeal. But it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing, the fact that we've got a part-timer and someone who retired to work on a part-time contract up until, I think it's only till the end of this year. In a recruitment department, as we had Michael Edwards for so long, his replacement lasted the season. It's really unnerving, and I think what people need to appreciate, what I think Liverpool fans are most annoyed, it's just the running of it. It's just the fact that we're making money and we can spend money, and the fact that we've been willing to make that big offer shows that the money's there to spend. So we've got it, and it's just not right. It's embarrassing, and I mean, I know people say about net spend. Net spend isn't real. It is real, and where the importance of net spend needs to be considered is that it shows the level of investment that's been put in the club. So what Liverpool have been doing is spending more or less what they've been accumulating and just getting that little bit extra. We can afford to have a higher net spend. We can afford to spend more than we recruit because that money is there. And that's where net spend is important, because it shows the level of investment that the club is putting of its own money into transfers to try and progress themselves. And we're not doing that. We're a big club being run like a small club. And it's really upsetting me. It is getting to a point that for the first time, I'm like this on FSG out. I've never been FSG out at any point because I value what they're doing and running the club ethically as a business. But it's not an ethical market, and if you run your business ethically in football, you're just not going to get any results, and that's where we are, and it's really upsetting, but really annoying. Who knows who we're going to sign now? Who knows? I mean, and Graham in the chat said Liverpool dug themselves into a hole because everyone knows you've got the money. Exactly right there. Who else have we got? We've got in the chat here. Torsten thinks it's comical that everybody wants to go to Chelsea instead of Liverpool. Chris is saying Chelsea are now under investigation under FFP, but it won't matter. I mean, even though they've changed the automatization, I can't say the word properly. I bet you can say it, Billy.
Oh, autonomous. Yeah, no.
Nobody can say it. Yeah, autonomization. They've changed from 8 years to 5 years. Still doesn't matter. They've still got it, and so that's irrelevant as well. Brighton's now made some good profit. They have done. They've made 4 million. They bought Caicedo for. They sold him for 115. That is absolutely belting there. But yeah, so I'm really cheesed off. As a Liverpool fan, I'm angry. I'm really angry. And but somebody who's not angry, but he's a bit disappointed with his team. Sam's in the chat. Hello, Sam. Saying the Man United Wolves halftime in-depth analysis. It's dreadful poo. And Lisa concurs. There's a bless. We've all been there. And Chris is also saying that it being poor, Anthony annoys him. That's because Anthony isn't very good either. Anthony's just Richarlison. They're the same person. Exactly the same. There's no difference. They're both really expensive. And but Sam is here in time for us to finish. We've finished where we've been on the Premier League. We're now going to move over to some of our European League coverage. And it is that time. It's that time of day for the La Liga. And Sam has sent me over some notes to read out because he is our La Liga specialist. It's not me. I don't know anything that's going on there. And I think I have read through this briefly. And I think he's also trying to grind my gears and push my buttons. And you can try and guess why as we get midway through this. So it is. I'm going to read this word for word for young Sam because he's taken the wonderful time to put it together. It's La Liga is back, baby, which is Spanish for baby. It's a new season, some new La Liga logos, but expectations will be the usual Spanish suspects fighting it out for the title. Starting with Real Madrid, who finished second behind Barcelona last season, who, of course, made this statement signing at the beginning of the window with Jude Bellingham for Borussia Dortmund. Just once. They beat Atletico Bilbao away in a tricky opener, start with a rather saucy midfield diamond of Bellingham. That's twice. Camavinga, Valverde, and Tuchamini, which, by the way, is what a midfield. Superb there. Goals from Rodrigo and Bellingham. That's 3. so a victory as Bellingham. That's 4. Became the first English player to score for Madrid since David Beckham in 2007. 4 Bellinghams, which is 4 too many. The current champions Barcelona played late on Sunday night, defending their crown away at Getafe in a bad-tempered match. Barca had both Fafina and Xavi sent off, while Getafe had Jamie Mata, not Juan Mata, see red as Barcelona were held to a goalless 0-0 draw. Lewandowski hit the woodwork late on, but the champions falter on opening night. Advantage Madrid. He didn't say to put the accent in there, but I did. Elsewhere, it's Europa League winners Sevilla, and he has now retired the name retirement home of Sevilla tag out of respect for the Europa League dominance. They faced Valencia at home, who just scraped survival last season, but they were defeated 2-1 with a late winner from Xavi Guerrero after Sevilla had Lovic Baddy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. Apologise, Sam. Sent off for last man challenger. Very Baddy start for Sevilla. Man City next in the UEFA Super Cup, and it could go from Baddy to worse. Villa Vallecano forward Randy Nketiah scored 1 goal and helped produce another in a 2-0 win at Almeria on Friday to kick off the Spanish League season, while Real Sociedad and Girona, not your Girona, drew 1-1 with the same scoreline for La Liga new boys Las Palmas and Mallorca. Real Betis left it late as Villarreal as they sank the Yellow Submarine in the 6th minute of stoppage time through William Jose header for 2-1, while Osasuna beat Celta Vigo in their own backyard 2-0. Two fixtures taking place on Monday: Cadiz versus Alves, and Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid taking on Granada. And we've got in here, Chris is happy that we'll win 2-0. He's so happy. But Milito, bad injury. And Lisa said it's Barcelona Getafe last night. It's like watching paint dry. And Kepa is new number 1 for Vale, while Courtois is out. I think Barcelona is still struggling to register players. Apparently, I did hear they. I'm not sure what's happened. Has anybody seen what's happened with? Is it Gundogan who joined from Man City at Barcelona? They couldn't register him as late as last week. Have they actually registered him now? Do we know?
I'm not too sure. I've not heard anything since. But I know Neymar was linked with a move to Barcelona again, but I think he's gone to Al Hilal.
He has. Yep. Al Hilal.
I said it right as well because I had to take a gap. If I say it fast, it sounds so northern. I can't say it.
Go on, give it a go.
Al Hilal. I can't pronounce my H's without like taking a breath and then saying it. So if I go Al Hilal, I'm fine, but Al Hilal, I'm not. It's not. It's bad times being a northerner.
Never bad to be a northerner. But Slava said he did play. Gundogan did play, so they've managed to register him. But they did lever. They had another £128 million lever. Barcelona did very recently to allow them to have more players come in. Isn't that wonderful? A team you could just sell off stuff for just a made-up value because that's what you think. But we'll move over now to the Bundesliga. Only one game in the Bundesliga, which is the European Super Cup, which we have touched on, so I don't need to smash it to death. But Harry Kane went there, taking the Spurs trophy curse over with him, losing 3-0 to RB Leipzig, who, in fairness, were the much better team. They were fast, really pacey. I think Dani Olmo with a hat-trick. Incidentally, what a player. Why people haven't been rumoured with Dani Olmo, I've got no idea. I mean, do you know how old he is, Billy? I want to say he's like 27, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, he's in and around that age, and he had an interesting career, actually. So he started off at Barcelona's youth academy, went to Dynamo Zagreb, played football there, and then went to Leipzig. So, yeah, I can see him as like a future Barcelona player.
25. And what a player. Absolutely superb. Scored 3, his first goal in the opening 7 minutes. And then I believe he scored a penalty then at the latter end of the game, and then another one in the middle. All superb finishes. But throughout the game, Red Bull, they were dominating possession. They had more passes, more press in play. They blew Bayern Munich away. I think Bayern Munich sloppy, slow. But up front, they had a young player up front who I can't remember his name. He's only about 19. I should really pull the game up in front of me, but I just know what happened, which is why I didn't. But they had a young player playing up front who was Tell. I'm not quite sure of him. 19 years of age, though, and he was a target man because they haven't really got that striker, which is why Harry Kane was brought in. But he obviously just wasn't able to create that penetration that they needed. Serge Gnabry didn't have the game that he should have been having, and they just struggled. Man United, alleged target, Benjamin Pavard, yellow carded and brought off. Again, didn't have a fabulous game, but Timo Werner, everybody's favourite former Chelsea striker, he did okay. He did all right. But, I think it's 66 minutes when Harry Kane was brought on. What I did like is Bayern Munich, they had the record shirt sales in their store when Harry Kane's shirt came on. So record shirt sales. They had signs, little kids holding signs saying, Harry Kane. Just it. No, like logo, funny chat, just Harry Kane. They were holding up, they were cheering for him. And he warmed up, he did that old warm up and like wave at everyone, so they all got excited. And but he came on and he just couldn't really do anything. However, let's be fair, I think he probably did half an hour training with the team. But I think the big takeaway that for me, and the worrying thing is Thomas Tuchel is under some serious pressure. I think he's not been there that long, but I believe he's had 6 wins, 5 losses, and something like 3 draws. So he's not got a fabulous record there. I think he's like 13 games in, something like that, 13, 15 games in. Already fallen out with Joshua Kimmich, already fallen out apparently with Leon Goretzka. and not endearing himself to the team there. So he could be there for a very short period of time, which potentially could make it an interesting Bundesliga season. Who knows? But it all kicks off next week. But that was Bayern Munich 0, Red Bull Leipzig 3. Wahahaha. And this week, Serie A hasn't started yet. Nothing's happened there. So that's why we're not going to talk about it, not just because of any other reason, because Lucas isn't here. Nothing's happened. A new one, I don't know if this is prepared or not, because I can't remember how much of this conversation I had with Billy. But we're going to be adding in some new leagues. The first one being the Eredivisie. Billy, did I ask you to prepare for this league?
You did. I'm fully prepared. It was a fantastic start to the Eredivisie. Holland again, Netherlands bringing the goals. There were so many goals over the weekend. We had a 4-3 Excelsior beating NEC Breda. We had AZ Alkmaar put 5 past Go Ahead Eagles in a 5-1 win, and Mark van Bommel's son scored in that game as well. If you remember him from PSV in the early 2000s, Dutch icon Mark van Bommel. Feyenoord started off probably one of the favourites this season to win the league. They started off with a red card and a draw against Fortuna Sittard as well, which is a bad point for them, especially because Ajax thumped Hercules 4-1. And Steven Bergwijn, ex-Spurs player, top goal scorer in the league currently, 2 goals in that game. It was an unbelievable start to the season. There's some great transfer rumours kicking around as well with the Eredivisie. Former Nuremberg, former Nuremberg, actual what I'm looking for is we come from the same place. Chupa Akpom linked with Ajax for £12 million. He actually used to train in the park opposite my house, and we used to play football with him when we were younger. But that's a different story. Could see him play for Ajax as well, which would be absolutely insane. And Donny van der Beek looking at going back to Ajax as well. They're coming in for him from Man United. So going back to where it all started for Donny there. And as we know, the Dutch league is a selling league. Ajax lost players like Edson Alvarez and Jurien Timber this summer as well. Danilo went from Feyenoord, one of their best players last season, to Rangers. Bit of a shock, that transfer for me. I feel like he could have played elsewhere. It's a bit of a step back, I would say, personally, the Scottish League to the Eredivisie. But again, Rangers are a big club. Going to win trophies there, definitely. And Almira, who was their first season in the Eredivisie, they lost 4-1 against FC20, and they got a red card as well. So no dream start for them. A lot of goals, a lot of it. An exciting league to watch. If you don't know much about Eredivisie, go and watch it if you can. It's not readily available in the UK. I think it's on a TV channel called Mola, which is like a streaming service. But if you can get it, go and watch it because there's goals.
I think it's a great league, the Eredivisie. It's quite competitive as well, I think, because of there's not as many that people are wasting around. Great with the chat saying, "Go Ahead Eagles" sounds more like a travel firm than a football club. Did they give Man United a scare the one year? Go Ahead Eagles.
Potentially in the Europa League, yeah. I mean, we've seen Dutch teams overperform in European competitions for years. I mean, Ajax have always done well. Semi-finals against Tottenham, although we came back in that famous night in Amsterdam. But back in the early 90s, early 2000s, Dutch football was really kicking off, especially in the mid-90s when they had, that team of Kluivert. Every single Dutch player you can think of played for Ajax, and that Van der Sar, the De Boer brothers. All those legends.
It's a good league, and we will be showing league tables as of next week. There's just only been one game this week, so I thought, why bother? It's too much effort. But another new league that we're trying out is the SPFL. Oh, hey!
We've had 2 games in this one. Josh, you should have brought a table up.
And Charlotte, the most northern person we have, to talk about the most northern league we can find.
Yeah, so are we going to have a guess, guys? Who do you think is at the top of the league in the SPL?
Celtic?
Yeah. At the top of the league, we do have Celtic, and we have St Mirren who are joint on 6 points, but Celtic just edge it on the goal difference. I'm so excited we get to speak about this league and Celtic, because remember my friendship with Brendan Rodgers, Josh?
Oh God, he's back there, isn't he?
He's back, yeah. And every week I was calling for him to be sacked, wasn't I? So yeah, I can talk about Brendan again. But Celtic were actually away at Aberdeen and they won 3-1. Brendan Rodgers' men with 100% start to the season. St Mirren also beat Dundee, but that was 2-1, and goals from Shaughnessy and Mandron. Dundee did miss a penalty in the 35th minute, and Zach Robinson was the unfortunate man to miss it, unfortunately. I don't like a penalty miss. But they did get a consolation goal, though, in the 63rd minute when Josh Mulligan scored. Hearts and Kilmarnock was a goalless draw, so they are now 3rd and 5th. In 4th place, we have Motherwell, who beat Hibernian. Is it Hibernian? Is that how you pronounce it? Hibs, yeah.
Hibs.
We'll just call them Hibs. Yeah, 2-1.
Alfie scored for Hibs.
I was just about to say, and a shout out to the legend that is Adam Lafondra. He scored a penalty for Hibs, so yeah, he's a Dale legend.
I'm sure I watched a video the other day. I was looking for clips of you talking about your Alfie face paint.
Yes. Oh, that was so annoying, right? I ended up being the final picture when we got defeated in the playoff final against Stockport because my mum and my cousin conned me into having face paint on my face. So I had Alfie written against my forehead, and these, like, because it was our centenary year, these black and white flags on my cheeks, but Alfie literally on my forehead. My mum and my cousin had, like, these little RAFC things on the cheek, so they conned me into it. So anyway, when we got beat, I was the final picture, because bearing in mind, Alfie used to play for Stockport. He's now at Rochdale. So I was the final picture with a big sad face on Sky Sports. So
yeah. Laughing at the child getting upset. Sad.
Exactly. But then again,
always been bullies.
Exactly. But yeah, Adam Lafondra scored. He's a Dale legend. I absolutely love Adam Lafondra. Rangers and Ross County at the 6th and 7th spot after their win against Livingston and St Johnstone. Rangers won 4-0, but they also got a goal disallowed as well, so very good result for them. Ross County had a 2-0 win. 8th, 9th and 10th are Dundee, Aberdeen and Livingston. They're all on 1 point. And rock bottom of the table, we have Hibs and St Johnstone, who are both on 0 points. If we're talking Eurovision, 0 points.
And Heather's asked, who's the first manager getting sacked? Because I'm sure you know all the managers in Scotland.
Brendan Rodgers. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'm actually confident in Brendan. I think now he's back in the Scottish League. I think he'll do all right. And to be fair, we can't really fault him at Leicester. He won a trophy with them, didn't he? So I just think it was his time to move on, weren't it?
It was just his time. And the league that begrudgingly we just talk about this one is League and in this week in League the one thing that I did want to speak about, which did warm the cockles of my heart, is PSG didn't win. They drew with FC Lorient. I think they have sold Neymar today, I believe. Apparently there were rumours saying Mbappe might be happy to hang around now, given that nobody's really making any money offers for him. Look, Real Madrid might happen next year, and he doesn't fancy the season playing with the kids or in Saudi Arabia. So I'm not sure if he's actually played this week, but he might be integrated back into the squad. He didn't play all the Mbappe, so he probably saw them drawing and thought, oh, God, this is embarrassing. If you look at the squad now, I mean, they got Shannon Luigi, Donnarumma, Ugarte in the central midfield. Why don't we try and sign Ugarte? Dear God, there's players everywhere. You don't want to play in a real league. And they got Marco Asensio as well at PSG, and the questionable Hakimi at right back. Other than that, pretty much all of their stars are gone. There's no more stars at PSG. So whisper it, potentially, this could be a competitive season in League this year. I'm not saying too much, but it could happen. Rennes at the top, followed by Monaco, followed by Brest, Toulouse, Marseille 5th, but they win in Strasbourg at 6th. Anything else interesting? Like I said, PSG at 12th after losing. Well, they drew. That's like as close as they're going to get. Nothing else really except Clermont's Foot is 17, and I just like saying that team name, Clermont's Foot, because I just think it's funny and it tickles me, and that's all that matters sometimes. But hopefully, if PSG don't win again next week, we might start showing that table as well. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? But just to bring you up to speed as well with a very, very exciting live game going on at the moment. It is 52 minutes, I believe. Man United 0. Wolves 0. I'll just take a look at the stats. If there's anything, there's been each of them have had a shot on target, and they've both had 8 shots. 60-40 possession in favour of Man United. It's to be fair, this is a horribly even game statistically. Looking at it statistically, it looks like a horribly even game. I doubt it looks like that on the pitch, but what is going on there? Apparently, Chris is saying Wolves missed a sitter, and they should be leading.
Is Craig Dawson playing? Because this has got a 1-0 Craig Dawson written all over it.
He is. Old Dawson is on the back line there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I don't want Man United to win ever. But Rashford is in my fantasy football league team, so that would be very nice. And if you are part of our FPL league, thank you very much for joining in that. If you want to have a giggle, you can check out the rankings at the moment. I didn't do particularly well. I haven't had a particularly strong week this week. I think we got 52 teams in our league. And I'm not going to say where I am, but I will say it is certainly in the lower half.
That's because you've done a team full of James Milners.
You know what? I'd be winning if I did. Shocking times. Oddly enough, I did a team for work as well, and that was actually performing better. But we will be, probably from next week as well, we're also going to start talking about our Fantasy Premier League as well. So if you are in that, thank you very much. I think what we've decided, if you win it, you might get a hug from me, which is, if it's after a pod, it's going to be really sweaty. But if it's at a regular time, it'll be fine. It'll just be a lovely, warm embrace. So we won't touch on that this week because I'll just embarrass myself too much. And you never know. We might even have some pod merchandise by that stage. And incidentally, so for those of you, before we go, it is actually our podcast anniversary in October. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Any ideas for what you think we should do within reason, let us know. Got to be very, very careful with that. But thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. This week is a very exciting week for us. So on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, Sam, Charlotte, and I have the honor and privilege of interviewing former Premier League and England international, I believe 292 appearances in the Premier League, over 20 goals, was a record transfer for one of his clubs. It is Matt Jarvis, absolutely superb. We're elated. We're so excited. Charlotte, how is that one making you feel?
Oh, honestly, I'm really excited, but I'm really nervous as well. But yeah, I want to say proper buzzing, but I don't because I think I've said it. I don't know how many times, but yeah, I'm so excited. It's just one of them people like growing up and watching football, even when he was at Gillingham. And obviously from a lower league point of view, and how he's built his career up and up. And he was someone who I had in my fantasy team, especially when he was at Wolves as well. So yeah. That's one of the first things I'm going to say to him. You was in my fantasy team.
You know what? He was actually a frequent Football Manager sign-in for me as well, yeah. which might make his way. But that's really exciting. That's very exciting news. And of course, on Thursday we have our excellent absolutely lower league show. So if you enjoy your lower league teams, even if you don't enjoy lower league teams, but you just like good football conversation, that is a show for you. And Charlotte, who have you got on this week on your absolutely lower league?
Yeah, so obviously I missed it last week because I wasn't very well. So I'm on, Scoops is on, and Nick's on the Swindon fan as well. So yeah, it's going to be a really good week, but it's a double game week as well. So we've obviously got some of the weekend's games to talk about. There's games obviously tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy one, but yeah, I'm really excited. And Dale won a game as well. So I'm definitely going to get that one in. I'm just hoping they can build on it. But yeah, it's 8:30 on Thursday. So please come and join us. And it's always really good and banter and everything as well. So just please have your say, because we talk about the Championship, League 1, 2 and the National League. So please come in and say hi.
And apparently Scoops will be happy. And remember, of course, there are 92 teams in the English football pyramid. 20 of them are in the Premier League. So all the others are trying to be covered by the lower league team. So there's an awful lot of games. On a double game week, that is a double lot of games that have got to be covered. I mean, I can't do my maths, but I would measure, there's probably over 40 odd games in just a
Yeah.
1 game week. So you're probably looking at like 80 plus games. So if they don't cover your team, don't take it
I
personally.
know.
They
What we've
still
tried-
love you.
Yeah, what we've tried to do as well, obviously, we try and concentrate on different games each week. So if we've spoke about one team and their result, we'll tend to talk about a different team for next week. But with it being a double game week, we're going to talk about a couple of games from Saturday and then a couple of games from Tuesday. And then whoever's in the chat, we can try and chat about their teams as well, because it's honestly so difficult. And I felt so sorry for Scoops last week as well, because I did drop him in the deep end because obviously I wasn't well. So I just want to thank him as well. So yeah, I do appreciate it.
So make sure you do check that out. We potentially, I believe we've also got another guest lined up for next Monday's pod as well. So it's exciting times on the Absolute Football Podcast. So please make sure that you're here. Thank you very much for following us. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, and all of that jazz. And if you've enjoyed this evening, you've enjoyed the witty football banter of our Charlotte, where can everybody find you?
Well, I am active on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and I'm SharXRAFC. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT. And obviously you can find me on the Lower League show on Thursday as well if you want to keep up to date with all the lower leagues.
I found that. And of course, as I said earlier, he's still standing, our true survivor, Billy. People are going to want to know where you are because they can't find you on Twitter at the moment. So where the hell are you?
Yeah, I don't have Twitter at the moment. It is on my list of things to do, so I will do that at some point. You can find me on YouTube and on TikTok, Hold My Home. I do a lot of Football Manager content and rant about Spurs as well. So if you love Football Manager and Spurs, I'm there for you. And also we do a non-league stream on YouTube as well with the Isle of Man, which is this shirt. So yeah, hopefully make them one of the big Premier League teams one day.
Beautiful stuff. And if for some reason that you wish a little bit more of Josh in your life, or if you just want to upset somebody about what's going on at Liverpool, Heather, I'm not. I live too far away to reach many Liverpool games, unfortunately. But if you want to see me get really angry and agitated, and you want to poke the bear, you can find me mainly on Twitter, where I'm at FMFO_official. I might stream at some point when the new Football Manager game is released, but that's not going to happen for a little while yet. So mainly I'm going to be active on Twitter, a little bit on Instagram maybe, and a little bit on Threads when I can be bothered. But you must be off your head if you want to get more of that. But what you need to get in your life is the podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, on TikTok at Absolute Football Pod, Instagram and Threads is Absolute Football Podcast _, and at Facebook, of course, it's just the Absolute Football Podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. Nothing costs you any money. We wouldn't take your money for you. We just want to entertain and give you all our love and attention. However many times a week we're on. Once a week for me, 17 for Charlotte.
I know.
But thank you all for joining us, and everybody in the chat. We really, really appreciate all of your interaction. It all means so much to us that you're all here. Thank you all so much. I'll try and name you all, but I'll forget. I don't want to offend anybody. We love you all. Thank you very much. Hope you have a lovely evening. Hopefully, come on, Wolves. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.